Google Live.
Okay.
Sir,
Subha ma'am?
YouTube live is also on. I am able to see an icon.
Yeah, I'm just switching on now, sir.
Subha ma'am? Subha ma'am?
So it's better when the YouTube is on, we'll go formal.
Yeah.
One second, sir. Subha ma'am, you there? Subha ma'am?
Yes,
Subha
sir.
ma'am, you there?
Dr. Durai, you want to start?
Yeah, yes, sir. 1 second, sir. 1 second, sir. Subha ma'am, you there? There is one announcement, sir. That's why.
Yeah, please go ahead.
One second.
Tell me that.
Yeah, sure. Subha ma'am?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now. Okay. But the voice is very low, ma'am.
This is the voice I can do it, sir, actually from here. I have tried many ways. It is not supporting me. Am I audible?
Yeah, now it's okay.
Yeah, I'll raise my voice. No issues.
Okay. Sir, now we'll start, sir. Actually.
Yes, sir.
You.
So good evening, everyone. So this is welcome. This is day 2 of the webinar hosted by Patrician College of Arts and Science. And we have our resource persons, Dr. V. Arulmurugan from Pondicherry University, who has been well versed in the area of research and fundings for the last 17 years. And yesterday we had our first session. And it was amazing that we had around 5,300 views so far in the last 24 hours. It was one of the amazing reach, and we also received many positive comments from the participants and the teachers and faculty fraternity and the education sector. So I look forward to have Dr. Arulmurugan on the day 2. So before that, we have a small announcement from Patrician College. So thank you all for joining, and greetings from Audacious Dreams Foundation. So we're just glad to be a partner for this program. You can subscribe and press the bell button so that you can know about our future education session. It's over to you, sir. Duraiya, sir.
Thank you, Dinesh, sir. Before we start for technical section 2, we have small announcement from our research committee member, Dr. Subha ma'am will announce it.
One and all present here. I'm Dr. Shubha, member research committee, Patrician College, Adyar. Here is a small announcement regarding the program. Let me first convey my sincere appreciations to all the faculty members of this wonderful program for your overwhelming participation and response. Our research committee has sent a feedback form link to the registered mail ID. I repeat, our research committee has sent a feedback form link to the registered mail ID. The feedback link can be accessed only after the end of this second day session. The feedback link will be available from 5:30 p.m. and will be there for access up to 5 hours. Your sample proposal is your assignment, and it has to be attached in the feedback link either as a PDF file or a JPEG file. I repeat, your sample proposal is your assignment, and it has to be attached in the feedback link either as a PDF file or as a JPEG image. We kindly request you to keep ready with the sample proposal before you start the feedback. It should be in the form of PDF or JPEG. The assignment need not be submitted or sent to the mail ID provided by the committee. Thank you. I welcome you all for the second day session, and I now request the speaker to take over the session.
Vanakkam. Good afternoon to everyone, and thanks a lot, Madam and Dr. Durai, Mr. Dinesh, for coordinating the entire second session. And most probably to begin with, I like to welcome all the participants in the Zoom as well as the researchers. In one term, we can put it everyone across the researchers in YouTube Live. And the other thing is that I want to appreciate each one of the researcher in this program, FDP program, a virtual program, that everyone has shown keen interest, and your what you call it as your the comments and your views in YouTube, and there were thing in what you call it as a lot of phone calls yesterday, and even some of the mails which shown that you people are so interested in this topic rather than anything else. And to begin with, I can tell you that as Dinesh sir was saying, that within 24 hours, I'm able to see 5,300 views of this video. and it is one of the good
same
things which
YouTube started my
I can tell you that, and there were 503 likes, and there was one dislike, which I'm very particular on that. I like to know maybe end of my session that what made it, because I need to correct myself if I'm wrong or if I'm mistaken. So with this little note, appreciation to the entire research committee, appreciation to the participant, appreciation to the technical team, the foundation, and with this note, we can directly get into the presentation. And I request the technical team to blow up the presentation, the first slide, then we can move on. Yeah, Dinesh sir, I'm able to see it now. And maybe you can go to the next slide, which is the same slide which I have made it up. Can you go to the third slide? I think everybody is joining in YouTube. Thank you. Thanks a lot for joining back for the second day session. And the topic which we are going to discuss today is project proposal for funding agencies. And we are going to discuss exclusively on UGC STRIDE and ICSSR Impress. And it is what you call as a scheme specific project proposal preparation and also the submission protocol as such. Move on to the next slide, please. Yeah, have for some time. The previous slide, green one. Yeah. So thanks a lot, sir. See, maybe I want to have a little recap for the entire audience and the entire participants on live. These are the three things which we have been doing in session one. We have understood what is scientific research, and we have understood what is the scientific process. Then we understood what is scientific approach. I think you will not forget the fun approach, Dr. Bram's fun approach for scientific research. And we are able to understand what are the funding agencies in the international level and national level. And today, I'm going to be very specific on one important aspect, that funding agencies in India, and the most popular funding agency, that is UGC and ICSSR, and which is also recommended for all the what you call it as the faculty members in India to do research on it. And today we will be concentrating, like as we concentrated yesterday, the broader sense of how to prepare a research proposal in a practical way. And I do understand some of you have called me and requested or even discussed with the further making out the research proposals even yesterday itself. By the time I think even Dr. Durai was sharing me that some of you have already sent a research proposal of your choice with the research title, objectives of the study, methodology, and chapter design, which shows that I'm so happy that you are able to understand what I'm able to deliver to you. So that is an ultimate aim which we are able to reach in session one. And session two today, we will be more focused. It will be very, what you call as funding agency specific discussion. That is what we are going to do today. And we are going to take, even though there are so many funding agencies, most popular UGC STRIDE, ICSSR, then DST, and there are so many ministries which are coming out with the funding agencies. But today, I'm going to make my schedule for next 45 or 50 minutes on two important segments. One is on UGC STRIDE, number two on ICS Impress. And the first segment we'll be looking on, we'll go to the next slide, sir, fifth slide. So the first foremost thing which we are going to make it out is the UGC STRIDE. We'll go to the next slide. So UGC slide, so you need to understand that UGC already has regularly called for, which we have been there, which is a regular phenomena of asking minor and major projects. Now, in recent times, UGC has come out with a separate scheme which is called as STRIDE. That is scheme for what you call it as a scheme for transdisciplinary research for India's developing economy. So that means that our government and MHRD and UGC is so specific that we want to build a transdisciplinary research in the context of India's developing economy. That is why the name STRID stands for. And one more thing is that this scheme is not directly monitored, supervised handled by UGC. It is totally given to Banaras in the university, and they are the coordinating university who is taking care of that. So with this little note, let us first understand what is this STRIDE and what this funding agency is looking from us. Moving on to the next slide, sir. And if you look into this, I have given very clearly that yesterday we were discussing about fund. Do you remember novelty, utility, and feasibility? And today, in the same angle, that STRIDE also has come out with an innovative, they are looking for an innovative research project with 4 important components in our proposal. And whenever we prepare the proposal, that proposal should be socially relevant. So our government or our UGC wants us to prepare a proposal, or the faculty members or the researchers to do a research on the topic or on the title, on an area where it is socially relevant. So they're very particular and locally need-based. That is what vocal for local, what our Prime Minister was saying few days before. So locally need-based. So in our area, wherever you are, whether you are in Chennai, whether you are in Coimbatore, whether you are in Tamil Nadu, whether you are in Kerala, whether you are in Mizoram, whatever, Rajasthan, Gujarat, wherever you are, so locally need-based projects proposal is required. And number 3 most important thing they are looking for is nationally important. Even though it is locally, it should have a national importance. So that is more important. So whenever you create an idea, whenever we generate an idea, and whenever we are going for what you call it as the findings, it should support our national interest. So nationally important. And the other one is globally significant, because India is not out of the world. India is part and parcel of the globe. So whenever we do anything, ultimately it will be globally significant. So with this, that we need to think of any research projects. Maybe those people or those researchers yesterday that you have worked out a research proposal, even you can check it out whether your proposals are socially relevant, locally need-based, nationally important, globally significant. So if you look into that, ultimately, like, there is a chance for your proposal to get move on. So moving on to the 7th slide, that I want to give what you call the basics about UGC STRIDE scheme. And there is a specific operational guidelines available under the UGC website. You can there is a elaborate guidelines available. You can go and download that and you can read. But for your information, I have brought it in a nutshell, in a lucid way, whereby anybody who is interested on research can do that. And in that, if you look in the UGC STRIDE scheme, that is, this scheme has been divided into 3 components, which I have given in that slide. Component 1, component 2, and component 3. So you need to understand that means this is 3 versions. Like component 1, that is a separate scheme. Component 2, that is a separate model, and component 3, that is a separate model. We need to understand that what is component 1, who are eligible, how much fund is allocated, what is the duration, and who is eligible to apply for that. So in that case, I'll go one by one, whereby we can have a clarity. So component 1 or component 2 or component 3, that means all 3 components can be applied. That means UGC STRIDE proposals can be or funded, can be sought by sending a proposal by any university of center and state or any colleges which comes under the section of 2F and 12B of UGC Act 1956. So any colleges, any universities which are under this category, if you have an approval, then your institution is eligible to get funding from UGC STRIDE. And if you look into the component 1, the maximum fund that under the scheme we can get it per institution is 1 crore. That means component 1 is not for individuals. Component 1 is for the institution. Please understand. So any institution of this nature can apply and you will be given 1 crore, and the period of funding, period of the project is for 3 years. And how to apply that? It is very simple. Any institution which is coming in this category has to nominate 1 researcher who will be an expert in the field as a coordinator, institution coordinator, and they can apply online. That is component number 1. Component number 2, the same university, as I said, or colleges are eligible, but here there is a little what you call as a difference in funding, duration, and who can apply. So up to 50 lakhs is given by UGC for component 2 category of STRIDE component 2. So up to 50 lakhs. Even some exceptional projects, that proposals, even they are ready to give up to 1 crore if that individual is able to collaborate with the government organization, corporates, or any NGOs. If we are going to do not independently as an individual, if we are going to collaborate, that even it can be given up to 1 crore. But only one little condition over there is 40% of the entire project money should be sponsored by that collaborated institution. And it is the maximum period we can do that research is for 3 years. And who can apply that? Assistant professor and associate professors who are in regular mode. A regular assistant professor and associate professor can apply in STRIDE component 2. And what is component 3? STRIDE component 3. And again, the same institution is eligible, and the money, oh God, if you look into that, the fund is up to rupees 5 crores. And the project can be run for 5 years. And who can get this? The expert researcher. And that expert researcher should not be from one institution, minimum 2 institutions, maximum 4 institutions. Minimum 2, maximum 4 institutions can collaborate. An expert from 4 institutions can collaborate and you can get funding. So these are the 3 components. If you look into these 3 components, my dear friends, try to understand that component 1 is for institution, component 3 is for the expert researcher with a lot of experience. But what is more is like component 2. So in my presentation, I am going to deliberate on component 2, not on component 1 or not on component 3, because the participants are more eager to apply for individual projects. So we will be concentrating on STRIDE component 2. Moving on with the basic information, I am moving on with the next slide. So when we move on to that, yesterday, please understand, yesterday we created our own idea for the research proposal and research. But one different from the other major and minor projects than UGC STRIDE and the ICSSR Impress is that the thrust area is defined, denoted by the authorities itself. In your slide, I have given very clearly that 12 areas, 12 defined notified thrust areas for research is given by UGC under the STRIDE format. And you can see all 12: philosophy, history, archaeology and anthropology, psychology, behavioral and cognitive sciences, literature, linguistic and digital humanities, Indology, Indian languages, Indian knowledge system, liberal arts, cultural studies, regional studies, law, education, continuing education, technology enabled education, journalism and mass communication, management and commerce, environment and sustainable development. So these are the 12 broader thrust area that UGC has given for STRIDE. Irrespective of these 12, any discipline which comes under science and social science can apply. Linking to this are directly under this scheme. So now what is the advantage? Previously, even yesterday in the first session, one question was there. Sir, how to identify the thrust area? How to identify the contemporary area? Now the authority itself is giving a contemporary area. Please understand. So with this 12 note that we can move on. That means now there is no need to worry about the thrust area or interested area. We need to find out which one of your interested area is listed here, irrespective of any discipline, because it is multidisciplinary research. That means as a commerce man, I can mingle with a psychology or a sociology or a computer science department, even an agricultural scientist, and I can make a research. That is what STRIDE is looking for. That is what the scheme is. Moving on to the next slide. That before I want to explain you what is a submission protocol, I want to tell you one thing, that each component 1, component 2, component 3, all 3 has 2 important aspects in application. One is part A and part B. Part A consists of the investigator profile for all 3 components, including component 2. So part A, we have a format which has the invigilators information. And number 2, that is part B, which comprises of 3 things. 1, the project proposal. Number 2, the budget. Number 3, the letter from the institution. So these two we need to understand first before we get into understanding of protocol. Based on the previous day information, how to prepare, a slight difference will be there. Let me explain you in part A in the UGC Stride component 2, if you are going to apply, see, you can have one principal investigator, minimum one or maximum two co-principal investigators. So 3 can join, 3 can, one, or you can do individually, or you can have a team. That means one principal investigator, 2 principal co-investigators can join, and you can apply for UGC Stride. And one more thing is that it is need not that you should be from one institution. You can be from different universities, different colleges, and different states also. So that you can do this. And if you look into this, what you call it as the format, what are the information they are looking in, because practically when we started applied last time, we were little struck because we were not aware what are the information has to be given. So later we are able to understand when we applied. That's what I'm saying. No, I have a partner for research, Dr. A. Shankaran sir, who is working in Pondicherry University Economics Department. We have been together for past almost 15 years on research. So one thing what they will be asking is subject applied. In which subject you are going to apply? What is the broader area? And the name of the principal investigator, and all the details of name, the gender, date of birth, qualification, designation, and your residential and official address. And number 4, they'll be asking about the information about the co-investigators. Co-investigator 1, co-investigator 2. So the same information they'll be asking. Beyond that, the teaching and research experience of principal investigator. So only co-investigator will give only limited information, but the information is more on co-principal investigator. So what is his teaching experience? What is his research experience? And what is the year of award of doctoral degree? And what is the doctoral degree, PhD degree topic, which you need to remember now. You would have completed your PhD degree 10 years before. So PhD degree topic, when it got awarded, and maybe recent past 5 years. What is your publication? Research papers published in reputed journals, in edited volumes, which you need to mention. And you have to mention your name and affiliating the address of your own institution, university or colleges. And beyond that, you need to give details about whether you have already got funding from any of the institutions. If it is so, how many projects you have complete, what is the money, and find all those information has to be given. And beyond that, whether your institution has equipment and other infrastructure. And you can also give, finally, in the 10th point, you need to give like any other information which has to be given. And more important, please, filling all 9 is easy, but 10th one, please don't leave it blank. You can always express your research endeavors in your life, whether how much, what are the areas you are involved in research, whether you have done any independent research. So in a nutshell, in 100 to 200 words, you can explain that. If you explain that, ultimately what will happen, your part A will get completed. So first you need to prepare part A, that is the investigators and co-investigators profile. And moving on to the next one, part B, 10th slide, part B. So in the part B, as I told you, the part B is the proposed research work for UGC Stride component 2. This carries 3 components. One is project detail, that means the proposal, which we discussed yesterday. Number 2, the budget. Number 3, the most important, your institution forwarding letter. So these are the 3 things which you need to have in part B. So let us discuss part B, your proposal specific to UGC Stride. Yesterday we have discussed the common, what you call a format. Today we will be discussing to the what you call it as the exact the proposal for UGC Stride. Maybe you may wonder, yesterday I was little faster in delivery. Today I am going little slower because I got a lot of feedback that some of them are not able to catch up my what you call as a fastness. So I have slightly slow down for everybody's understanding. So that is the thing. And there are 9 components involved in it. 9 components. Number 1, I'm going to tell you each one component and how and what you are supposed to write there. whereby that clarity you need to require. Most of us get confused. We need to go minute to minute. And the words which we write also looked into. You should write in a crispy way, not elaborately. There is no word limit as far as UGC tried except the statement of purpose. Remaining you can write, but don't write too much. So number one, broad area of research. What is the broad area? Which I have mentioned, no, that 12 areas. Among the 12 areas, you should select any one area. That you have to mention there. And the statement of purpose. That means it is nothing but the abstract of your proposal, research proposal, abstract of your research proposal. So ultimately you need to write in a crispy way, that is 500 to 800 words. That statement of purpose, don't write in the beginning. Complete the entire research proposal. After completing it, then you can write it in a crispy way. All two lines, if you scrub it, then ultimately you will get statement of purpose. So straight away we will move on to the third one, which is project title. I think by the time you can write or you can frame, you are trained now to frame a title. Maybe for example, among that, if you look at, for example, skills is one of the topics. So ultimately what you can do is, like, you can maybe any topic, if you take it, like even COVID, if you take COVID-19, so you can frame any topic. Yesterday we were discussing about the attitude of residents in the what you call it as the home in the COVID-19, or you can always check it out, the perception or the mindset of quarantined people at COVID-19. So any title you can mention of your choice. And once your title is mentioned, then introduction. Introduction carries a broader perspective. So first you have to write origin of the research problem. There what you have to, that you can write within 100 words, not more than that. How you got an idea of your research, that you should write. How you got that idea and where you got that idea, what is the source of generating that idea, where you got that research gap, that you should write in the origin of the research problem. B, transdisciplinary relevance. When you want to get into that, that means that you should write interdisciplinary relevance. If you are taking a topic, how it is going to be relevant with other domains also. In the 360-degree angle, you have to think of and you need to write. And 4C is societal relevance. That's what yesterday itself I told you. Nothing new in this proposal. So social relevance. How exactly? Minimum 5 significant social relevance. Try to write in the societal relevance. And the next one is relevance to national mission and priorities. How your proposal or how your research is going to be very relevant for the policy makers. That is what they are asking there. How far our national priority is going to be helped by your research. And for E, review of research and development in the subject. If you are taking a title, if you are taking a broader area, or if you are taking a title, there you should mention 3 important things. Number 1, some at least minimum 10 international studies. Try to get it. Try to write it in a crispy way. Don't copy the abstract and paste it. It is wrong. You have to write it with your flow. You include, accommodate those research findings in your flow. Then national status. At least when you write international status, please, at least you write 10 different countries' research. That is more important. And when you say national status, maybe based on different states or different dimensions you can think of. And most important is you have to write the significance of the study. That means you have to write how your topic is going to be, your research is going to be significant in the research domain, how it is going to add value to your knowledge domain. That we have to write. Apart from this, as I told you, objectives, there is a space for that. Now, in the title, we have to give all these details, and introduction, we need to give all these details. And the 5th item, that this is a format which I have not created. This is a format given by UGC STRIDE. Okay. So objectives, I told you minimum 3 objectives or maximum 5 objectives. Try to draft it. And when you write the objectives, first write the objectives, make the logical sequence of the objectives. And number 3 is more important. Don't write any descriptive objectives. Write analytical objectives. Descriptive, for example, study about something. Describe about something. That is your part and parcel of your research. And last objective, many people write us in PhD to suggest an idea, to suggest a model. That is also is not an objective in my opinion. It should be workable, it should be researchable, where you can support with quantitative, qualitative sources or data. And after that, the sixth is methodology. Yesterday itself, I told you, when you write methodology, please remember, write under that, you try to write, under the methodology, you try to write type of study, data sources. If you are going to do with secondary sources, what is the period of data, what is the validity of data, relevant authorities, what is the sources of data, and what are the tools you are going to use, what are the techniques, models you are going to use it, or any model. And number three, if it is going to be primary survey, you need to write under that. Yesterday itself, some of you would have prepared, and the primary survey, you have to write what is your population and sample, then you have to write your sample size, then you have to write your sample maybe position, then you have to write your location, and you have to write your sampling technique, then you have to write your tools or data collection tool, then finally tools for data analysis, and what are the statistics you are going to use it. And because it's a bigger area, maybe in the future I may come out with a separate what you call it as a webinar on data analytics. Maybe you can also join later, whereby I can explain you what is the data, how data analytics are done. So the univariate data, bivariate data, multivariate data, how these, what are the tools are available, what software we are going to use it, and how effectively we are going to build a model. Theory building is more important. So that you have to mention in your methodology. They may look for some model, some idea, some innovative idea, some statistical tools are able to bring out. And in the seventh is more important, year-wise plan of work and targets to be achieved. That means here what you have to do is prepare a tabular column. If it is for 3 years, mention like all this, like review of literature, preparing of what you call it as data collection tool, analysis, drafting. So you can put it in a particular in the 3 columns, year 1, year 2, year 3. So what you are going to do, that is what they are asking. Year 1, first year, what you are going to do. Second year, what you are going to do. Third year, what you are going to do. So that what you call as year-wise plan also is mentioned, that you have to mention in a tabular column, that you can make it out. And the 8th point is details of collaboration with government. If you are not going to collaborate, there is no issue. If you are going to collaborate, then you have to give the details. That is what I told you. Now, if you are going to collaborate, there's all set chance that you will get the 1 crore. So if you are going to get that, and 40% has to be given by them. Government, industry, that is corporate or NGOs or any other given international organizations also, you can make it out. And the final point is more important in the research. Yesterday we didn't discuss that. Expected output and outcomes. What it means. Many of the researchers who apply for that category confused, and they asked us, myself and Shankaran has guided, Professor Shankaran has guided many people how to write that. So it is nothing but whether out of your research, what kind of output you are going to create. That means visible output. What kind of knowledge you are going to add to the knowledge domain. Whether you are going to do any publication, whether you are going to convert into any book, whether you are going to bring any resources, whether you are going to create any what you call it as the published sources, or if you are going to organize any seminars, conferences, or webinars as such in your research area, that has to be mentioned. So, my dear friends, I made it very clear that these 9 areas which you need to prepare before. See, all these details you'll get only when you logged in. But since we have an experience of applied before last 2 times, so I have all the copies whereby I'm sharing it. Now you can work on it. So this, if you prepare, that means now you understand the difference between the proposal format, what we discussed yesterday, and what we are discussing today. That means yesterday what we discussed is a common, and nothing is more, only most specific, scheme specifics. So with this note, prepare your propose. There is no except statement of purpose. Once you prepare all this, then you write statement of purpose for 500 to 800 words. Once it is ready, then we can move on to the second part. The next slide, sir. Yeah. So the second part of, second segment of part B form is that you need to have a budget. Here UGC tried it. They have mentioned not as a budget. They have asked a financial assistance required items for estimated expenditure. So this is the format. This format is not given in by UGC, which we have created, right? So this component heads are given by UGC. There are 7 heads UGC has given. That slide form has given: project fellow, hiring services, field work and travel, contingency, honorarium, books and journals, equipment. Equipment includes laptops, printers, right? Hard drive or external drive or pen drive. So anything related to maybe a scanner which is required, right? So these are the equipment. Maybe in the future, mobile also can be included rather than laptop. Maybe UGC has to think of, because carrying is easy, data collection is easy. So maybe mobile also can be. Not now. I'm telling you. I'm suggesting the UGC to think of. Even we can acquire a mobile, a smartphone rather than acquiring a laptop for this. And what here is that the other column which we have created it. So year 1, year 2, year 3, and what is the total? And in the last, grand total. So what we have to do is that how many people you require, and for year 1, what is the funding you require? Year 2, what is the funding you require? Year 3, what is the funding you require? And what is your total amount? So that if you prepare like this, and then it will be easy. So once you prepare it, right? Once you prepare it, and the third thing is that the institution letter, here it is named as endorsement certificate. That institution permission letter given by the registrar of the university or the principal of the college. Thank God, in this UGC stride, now the authority is given to the principal itself. So the principal of the college or the director of the research can give this certificate, and this certificate here it is called as endorsement certificate. So the format is also available in the UGC website. You can simply download, fill it, and send it across to the authority or your institution head. So now we have understood what are the areas, and now understood and prepared your profile and co-investigator profile. Then we have prepared the proposal. Then we have prepared the budget, and the fourth one is certificate is also ready. 5 things are ready. So once it is ready, then you can go ahead. So what you have to do is, now you cannot send a hard copy. UGC Stride scheme is only available to be applied online. So UGC has a separate web link for that. And as I told you, it is available through ugcac.in, or it is also available with stride.bhu.ac.in. Please, I'm repeating, stride.bhu, Banaras Hindu University, that is bhu.ac.in. Sir, move on to the next slide. So if you look into this, sir, 1 minute. I want you to press one by one, whereby more clarity. In this slide, I want you to click one by one, whereby more clarity will be given. So now you can click, sir. The next. I'll say next. Yes. So wait, sir. Wait. So ultimately, in this, if you look in, I'm going to explain you. Once these informations are ready, you have to submit online. What is the submission protocol? I want to tell you one thing. The first time when we applied, oh God, it was very difficult to understand it. Now, maybe after that, we have come out practically how to apply, which I have made it for your what you call as easy understanding, rather than you get confused. So that is how we can help others. Once we know something, we need to give them a free of cost, whereby the research and quality get increased. So the first thing what you need to do is, whatever we have discussed till now, you can get only when you logged it in your website, or there is as I told you, the handbook is available, guidelines is available, you can take it. So the first step what you need to do is log on to Stride website, madam, stride.bhu.ac.in, and then second step is download the format of project proposal. So format is already there. So there is a Word copy which is available. So you can download, once you log in, you can download the format of project proposal and the endorsement certificate in Word file. So that I have shown you just now before. And then the third step, next. Third step, prepare investigator profile. Please, you prepare the investigator profile part A and project proposal with budget part B. Just now I shown you, now you have to prepare that. You have to have it in your, what you call as Word file. That you have to keep it separately in your laptop. Then the next step is, after having all this, so you need to download In that format, you need to prepare investigator profile or co-investigator profile part A and the project proposal with budget part B. So this thing should be ready. Next, the next step is, once it is ready, the next step is you have to submit your application. This is your application. See, before you submit online, you need to get your endorsement certificate from your registrar if you are in university, if you are in college, from your principal. If it is so, they cannot simply sign your single page document. For them, you need to submit the entire document with the endorsement certificate filled in. Then you have to submit to a registrar or principal. They will approve it. Then only you can go and what you call it as upload in the online. So what you have to do is, before you do it, you try to prepare it in a what you call it as ordinary A4 size sheet, and with the endorsement, send it across through proper channel. If you are in a department, head of the department, dean, then it goes to the research director, and from the research dean or director or a coordinator of your college, then it goes to principal or the registrar, then they will prepare the certificate. Please understand, in our system, it will take minimum 3 to 4 days. So don't waste your time at the end. So once you get your endorsement certificate ready, that means you have your part A, part B, and endorsement certificate. If this is ready, then we can go for the next step. Next step is each one of you, that means if you are a principal investigator, PI, if you are a co-principal investigator, co-PI, both of you has to register in this website separately, please, separately. When you register, what are the things it will ask? That you have to prepare already. You have to have the data. Number one, it will ask you the personal details, like your name, all those. Number two, there is more important, PhD title. Because if you are a principal investigator, PhD, you should be a PhD holder. If you are a non-PhD holder, you cannot be a principal investigator, but you can be a co-investigator. So please, your PhD title, year of completion, when you have completed, that information has to be, even the co-principal investigator has to has to have a PhD. So then that your curriculum vitae, that is biodata, any length can be in PDF, and you should have a scanned photo. All this, prepare it in your laptop. Then if you log in, you can feed it within few seconds. Your registration will be sent to the mail which you have given in that format. And the mail will be sent to your mail. You have to go to your mail ID and you have to activate your mail from there. Once you are activated, then your account is open. Now the job of principal co-investigator is over. The job of principal investigator. See, UGC only contacts principal investigator. So principal investigator has to log in with the Access dashboard, and you have username and password. Log in with your username and password. Then you have to add. If you go there, if you give the email ID of the co-principal investigator, his link will get added to you. So his registered email has to be typed, whereby it will be added. And then you start filing. Next step, sir. Next step. Start filing your scientific. Next step. Start filing your scientific proposal in the given format. So there is a format already available. Copy from your Word file, paste it over there, and you can upload your endorsement certificate. You have to have it in a JPEG file, and the JPEG file endorsement certificate that you have to upload. Once you upload, everything is ready. Then finally you can verify and you can submit. Once you submit, it has to be the final, and it has to be done within the due date. Then after submission, you can download the entire document what we have posted in a PDF file, and you can keep it for your reference. So this is the simplest way that you can apply. So it is very simple. Prepare your investigator profile, prepare your project profile with budget, prepare your what you call it as have an endorsement certificate, apply to your institution. Once you apply to the institution, then PI has to register separately, co-PI has to register separately, with all these details with the photograph. Then you will get the activation mail. Then you have to activate from there. Then after that, it's a PA job. Principal investigator has to log in, access the dashboard, add the co-principal investigator if you have one or two. Then you start filling the format step by step. Then you verify every step, and you can submit and get a printout. So your job of applying is done. And with this, we'll move on to ICSSR Impress. So now we have learned, we have understood how UGC Stride Component 2 can be applied. The same way, we'll move on. Next, it will take 10 minutes because we have understood everything clearly. So we'll move on to ICSS Impress. So Impress, sir, next slide. The second part of our discussion, that is ICSSR Impress. Impress refers to impactful policy research in social sciences. So the first one is common for everyone, and impactful policy research in social sciences exclusive for social sciences research. And we know that www.icssr.org is a website, and Impress also has come out with certain details we need to know before whether we are eligible or not, we need to understand. So in the ICSSR Impress, all government funded institutions, including universities, center or state, is included. Even private institutions which has a UGC 12B status, or if your colleges or institution is recognized as ICSSR Research Institute, then your institution is eligible to apply for this funding. Who is eligible? Which individual is eligible? Regular and as well as retired faculties. You'll be called as project director. And one important thing is that project director should have PhD. Co-project directors may not have your PhD. And the fund which is given to you is up to 50 lakhs. ICSSR Impress is ready to give an individual 50 lakhs. And we have to complete our project by 2 years. And one more thing is that you can apply 2 projects simultaneously. In one call, you can apply 2 projects. Either you can apply as a principal, what you call as project director, or you can apply one as a project director, another as a co-project director. You can apply. Suppose if your project is getting sanctioned, both the projects are getting sanctioned, then you can leave one project and you need to do only one project. So that is a one little condition. Moving on to the next slide, sir. So with this eligibility criteria, ICSSR Impress also has given, their UGC has given 12 broader areas. ICSSR has given 11 thematic broad thematic areas. State and democracy, urban transformation, media, culture, society, employment, skills and rural transformation. I have applied on that also. I am waiting for it. Government, innovation and public policy, growth, macro trade and economic policy, agriculture and rural development, health and environment, science and education, social media and technology, politics, law and economics. So these are the 11 broader areas which are available with ICSSR. So any topics relating to this, you can select. Moving on to the next slide. And in the same way, for ICSSR also, you should prepare a project proposal. And it has its own format. So like UGC had its own format, ICSSR also has its own format. The only difference is there is no word limit. There is no character limit. Here, for everything, there is a character limit. See, we can write much, but when we want to write less, it is very difficult. So you should write it in a crispy. I have given, see, these details are not available even in what you call it in the website. Once we start logging in and once we typed it, for example, if they are given 300 words, when I type the 301 word, it is not accepting. Then only we understood. So once only you log in, you will get to know. Now, because of us, you got all these details clearly. For example, I'll explain you one by one everything which we have discussed in the last 2 days also. Domain. So that the 11 areas I have shown, no, that is a domain. In that, if you get in, there are subdomains available in each area. Only in the website you can see that. So in that you have to select a subdomain. Then you have to type your project proposed title. Then you have to type your project summary. Please write your project summary after preparing everything. This, please copy this, prepare in your Word file, keep it ready, check your word count also. Then you can copy and paste it in the soft copy. right? Project summary should be maximum 100 characters. Please, it is not a word. I also made a fault. I written 100 words. When I pasted, it was only few lines. Then my what you call as co-partner in research, Dr. Shankaran sir told me, Arul, it is not words, it is character, man. Oh God, then I understood, okay, overnight in the last moment, I've changed every words into character. Character means A, B. For example, you know it, right? Research, research is a word. Research, REA. So that is the number of words, number of letters, number of characters. So duration, 2 years. So 25 months you write it. Introduction of the project study, proposed to study. You have to write that introduction. You have to write how you got this idea about your topic for 100,000 characters. Please note down that. Major existing research works review. See, the words are different from UGC, STRIDE and Impress. Matter is same. International studies, national studies. International 1,500 characters, national studies 1,500 characters. But what you call as review, you can write for 300 words. Identification of research gap. In UGC STRIDE, they didn't ask you. Here in Impress, they are asking you the research gap for we have to write maximum of 1,000 characters. Framework and methods of proposed research. That is what methodology. We discussed about methodology. No, that methodology part you have to write it here. Framework and methods proposed for research. That should be 1,500 characters. You have to be very clear. You have to write very short. No need to explain. No need to write any formulas on all. The next one is innovativeness in proposed research. 750 characters you need to write. How it is innovate? That's what I was asking. You know, whenever you think of your research, please think of innovativeness. Expected outputs such as, like they were asking, what is outputs? Here also they are asking. Expected outputs, they have mentioned here. How many research papers you are going to generate? What are the reports you are going to make it? How many books you are going to come out? What are the documents you are going to make it? What is the data state you can create? You have to mention in maximum 500 characters, 500 letters. Then relevance of proposed study for policy making, because it is social research study, no? So we have to mention about the policy makers. So we have to write how it is relevant, socially relevant, or what you call as policy makers. For policy maker, how it is relevant for 1,500 characters, and for society, how much it is relevant. It is for 1,500 characters. So now it is like UGC STRIDE general proposal, it is easy. UGC STRIDE proposal, you have to write in limited words, but here you have to write it in limited characters. So every time when you write, go to the word file, see in the left side column in the MS Word, what is the word letter count? What is the word count? So that you have to make it. So prepare this format. Once it is ready, then you need to prepare the budget for ICSS Impress project. Moving on to the next slide, sir. And here it is very clearly given again. So research staff, field work, equipment and study material, contingency, publication on report. So that is the heads of the expenditure. You have to give your budget. Here there is a restriction. What is the restriction? You know, only 40 total project, only 40%. Your research staff should not exceed 40% of your total project fund. Field work should not exceed 35% of your total project fund. That means field work includes travel, logistics, boarding, everything, and including books and journals. Equipment and study material, including computer, printer, and everything, it should not exceed 10%. There is a ceiling. Contingency should not exceed 5%, and publication of the report should not exceed 5%. And beyond that, 5% goes to the maximum 5%, or maximum goes to 1 lakh, whichever is less. 5% of your project total money, and 1 lakh, whichever is less, will be an institutional overhead. And in the bottom, I have given, if you are going to get a research associate, the minimum you have to pay is 25,000 per month, and research assistant 20,000 per month, field invigilator 15,000 per month. So you need to decide what combination: one research associate, one research assistant, one field investigator. So how you are going to make it? I'll give a simple rule which my friend Dr. Shankaran has given me. First, you decide the entire cost of your project, right? Tentatively, fill that at the bottom 100%. Then you calculate all the percentages, place it, recheck it, that it is on the trial and error method only. You can prepare your budget. Once your budget is ready, please go to the next slide, sir. Once your budget is ready, so I will take 10 more minutes because it's late of time. So here we need, sir, I want to go you by what point by point. How to submit online in the Impress. Next, sir. Next, Dinesh, sir. Yeah. Submission protocol. First, you have to log into Impress website. I have given the link. impress-icsr.res.in. If you go to that, you'll be logged on to the website. Then the next step is project director. Here we don't call it as investigator. Here we call it as a director. Project director, project co-director. Here, project director has to register with the email ID as username. Here, a project co-director doesn't have any job in the online. Only project director has. You have to give your email ID. You can generate username and you can create password. Once you generate your username and password, then the third step is you have to log in with your username and password. Once you logged in, then the fourth step, create your details. And when you create, please make sure that you have a scanned photograph. And in addition to that, you have to have your Aadhaar number. In IGC, I mean, in UGC, they are not asking Aadhaar number. In ICSSR Impress, they are asking Aadhaar number. Then you need to have a PDF, CV and biodata. Once you have your photo, Aadhaar number and CV and biodata, then you can upload your detail. And once you upload it, you can select the domain. Already we know the domain, no, on which domain we are preparing. You have to select the domain, you have to select the subdomain, and you have to enter your project title. So that means before you enter, you have to decide very clearly, you have to enter your project title. Once you are entered, then the portal will generate a proposal ID, a number will get generated. That is your proposal ID. And once it is created, then you can add your co-director or directors with, you have to type the details of them with their Aadhaar number and their CV. Also, you need to make it. Once the details of the project director and co-project director is ready, then you have to submit. In online, there is a space available. If you even one letter exists, one word exists, it will not accept. You have to reconsider. So you have to prepare. So before we get in, we have to prepare your project proposal, as I told you, and the budget. And also here, it is the letter is called as forwarding letter. It is not the certificate, endorsement certificate in UGC Stride. In ICSSR, it is called as forwarding letter. For getting the approval, you send it to your institution, your registrar, sir, through proper channel, or your principal madam or sir through proper channel, and you get your letter and have it in the what you call as JPEG file. Once every information is ready, then finally you enter all the details. One, either you can type or you can copy from Word file and you can paste it. And once you paste it, please make sure that the last letter is in. Otherwise, you have to rewrite. Every time we took it practically. And finally, you submit it. Then you will get a PDF file. Sir, next. So then finally, you will get a PDF file. So download that PDF file. PDF file will have three. Next, sir. One is PDF details. That is the project director detail. If you have a project co-director detail, then proposal detail. Once it is submitted, then you have to download that, and that has to be sent to that has to be sent to ICSSR. A hard copy has to be sent to ICSSR, even though you submit in soft copy. In UGC, there is no need to send hard copy. In ICSSR, you need to apply online and send the soft copy also. Moving on to the next slide. Within 10 minutes, I will close up. So now we have, sir, next slide, sir. Yeah. Now we have, let us understand that you have applied for UGC Stride as well as ICSSR Impress. Before I move on, I want to make it very clear that both are online. You know the eligibility criteria. There it is called as invigilator, UGC Stride invigilator, co-invigilators. Here it is called as a project director, project co-directors in ICSSR Impress. There it is called as endorsement certificate. Here it is called as Here it is called as forwarding letter and budget proposal. If everything is ready, then you need to understand also that how it is appraised. first thing what you have to do is we have to submit our research proposal online. Once we submitted online, our it will take some time as per the procedure of the UGC and ICSSR. They will come out with the shortlisting process. They have a lot of backend activities with the experts they do, and what they do is they will send you an email. They will publish in the website that whether your project got shortlisted. There is no any norms or guidelines that you can contact at any means. Nothing doing. If you want to be an ethical, submit and wait. They will contact you through email as well as in the website. So once it is shortlisted, you can feel happy that one step you have crossed. First one is submission. Second one is shortlisting. And once you are shortlisted, you will be called for a presentation or an interview. Either it may be in person. You may be called to the their office in New Delhi. Now you know that in lockdown, even before they have started in Skype. So there may be new technology also has come in. So they may be asking you for Skype. Even sorry to mention, you have to give a Skype ID in the ICSSR form that I have forgot to mention. So you need to create a Skype ID if you don't have it at present. See, whatever I told you, which I am able to accumulate in the last application, last call. Maybe in the new call, the same thing may be there due to maybe technological improvements may be there. Once you are given a presentation, then in the interview, right, in the presentation, if you are through, then you will get sanctioned. But yesterday also, moving to the next line, sir. Yesterday also, one of the question from YouTube Live was there, sir, how that interview will be there. So now I am giving the tips. So we have applied, we have shortlisted, we have called for the presentation or the interview. When you go for the interview, in the interview, what they will be checking you? One, they will be checking, see, again in UGC stride, only principal investigator will be contacted and called. In the ICSSR Impress, project director will be contacted and called, not any other person. So in that case, your project director in ICSSR Impress and the principal investigator in UGC stride should be ready. They will check our research knowledge, how in-depth our research knowledge is, logical thinking is. Number two, they check our domain knowledge. That means that the area in which you are going to do research, what is the experience you have and how far you are good at, that they will analyze. Number three, they will analyze our analytical skills. That's what I'm saying. No, when you have more data resources, you need to have knowledge on the package. That is what, don't anything, please learn as a researcher. Let us learn the analytics. It is quite easy. It is quite easy. Some people are making money out of it. Please learn yourself. Don't be unethical. Let us do ethical research. Then they will check your research experience. Then they will check your project experience if you have already, whether any seed money projects you have done, whether minor projects you have done, whether you have done any major projects you have done, and they'll be looking for your quality of publication. So once they will check in the interview all this, if you are comfortable, if they are comfortable, if they are happy, then, and in this case, there are some tips which I want to give you. Please make a clarity in presentation. That is more important. I think I'm not fussing out anywhere. So please make clarity in presentation. Already you have given a budget, but every time the authority or expert they ask that, is it possible to revise? Is it possible to bring down? Then if there is any possibility to bring down, you can always, surely you can say yes and bring it down and show that you are interested in doing research. You like research and you want to live with the research. So research attitude has to be shown. If these things are shown in your interview, and getting of your project sanction will be easy. Next slide, sir. So I'm moving on to last two slides. So now in the first session, we have understood what is research and everything, a proposal. Now we understood UGC proposal and protocol. Then we understood ICSSR proposal and protocol. And if you want to start, again, I'm telling you, yesterday you had an what you call an assignment. As I told you, the first step to prepare research proposal is, please, everything will be in your mind. Take a piece of paper, write down this. I normally put it on my, whenever I get an idea, I put it on my, what you call as notepad in my mobile. All these 4 points. A title, objectives 3 to 5, the methodology, as I told you very clearly every time, and the chapter design, 5 or 6 chapters. If you are ready, Then from there, that means what I'm trying to tell you is a research requires research proposal. A research proposal requires these four as a starting point from Dr. Ma'am. So if you start this, you will get a clarity. Once you are defined this, discuss with experts. Once these 4 points are getting discussed with experts, then you can work further and you can prepare your proposal. So again, what I'm trying to tell you is, if you have submitted yesterday, well and good. If you have yet to prepare, rather than thinking of your own topic, now you can go and think of looking at your slide, or go to the UGC website or the ICSSR website, see that areas, 11 areas in UGC and 12 areas in UGC, 11 areas in ICSSR, and you can prepare any one of the area and you can submit as an assignment, which the organizer will also be happy and I will also be happy. I will try to see all your assignments in the future. Next slide, sir. I'm going to summing up. Mostly whenever we discuss about the research, I need to also, it is out of my own experience, I have come out with a tips for writing research proposal in a scientific way. 12 tips I have come out. Number 1, know yourself. Most important thing is that, as I told you every time I'm telling you, you should know yourself. That is more important. Number 2, know the funding agency from which you seek support. If you want to apply for UGC, know everything about them. What is the protocol? Just now I was telling you. If you are ICSSR, DST or any other World Bank or IMF, know your funding agency. Read the notification and announcement. That's more important. Many people, many researchers, the colleague says that, so we understand and do it. Please, even though I have given you a clarity for an hour, please read the entire notification and announcement. Make changes. Even next time when I am going to apply, I'll not go with this knowledge. I will update the knowledge with the notification. Time spent on it. Formulate an appropriate research objective. Just now I was saying, no, formulate that. Develop a visible research proposal. Just now I was saying, state your research objective clearly in your proposal. Clarity. Frame your study around the work of others. Don't create a project which is unique, of that nobody has done. Even that is not fair. You need to have some sources of information. Most important, grammar and spelling mistake should not be there. Format and brevity are important. In what way you write, how you present, how short you are going to say, that matters. And know the review process. Just now I was explaining what is the review process. Proofread your proposal before it is sent. Before you submit, read everything once again. Don't be hurry. Submit your proposal on time. Don't carry forward to the last minute where all the researchers with the same time, you will have a network problem. So please do that. With these tips, I'm going to conclude my presentation. The last slide, sir. So last 2 days, whatever we have discussed, I'm putting in the nutshell. We have discussed about research, we discussed about proposal, we discussed about funding agency. Please, I'm making it very clear. Research never ends. Researchers have to end it. If you end one research, you will get another research. Don't prolong your research. Don't prolong writing your research proposal. And please always remember one thing which you want to, what you want to give me. So please remember that fun approach. Dr. Vam's, Dr. V. Arulmurugan, Dr. Vam's fun approach for scientific research. That is novelty, utility, and feasibility. And doing research is fun. Just do it. So with this note, let me tell you that all these inputs, what I am sharing with a good faith, with all things which I have learned from my own research guru, Professor M. Ranganathan sir, who was a retired professor from University of Madras Department of Commerce, who has given all his input. I am the last candidate of PhD, so he has given all inputs to me. I observed all inputs from him. I have read his book on metrology, written with O.R. Krishnaswamy sir, for n number of times to understand. So one important thing I have understood from Professor Ranganathan sir is that, how practically that one researcher has to take it to others in a lucid way, in the easiest way. That is what I have understood. Entire credit of research knowledge what I have today is totally submitted to his feet. And beyond that, last 15 years, I've been working with Dr. Shankaran. So last 15 years, I've been working with Dr. A. Shankaran sir for research. I thank Dr. Shankaran sir for giving an opportunity, because when I didn't have my PhD, he had a PhD. He invited me as a, we collaboratively work on what you call it as a project. The first project which we sent was rejected and we didn't get selected. The second project which we have sent got selected and we have completed the project. And now we have sent another project with a huge cost to UGC. So probably we are working on it. So we are working on more projects on it. And beyond that, I like to thank my good friend, Dr. S.S. Sindil Kumar, who is a professor of management in Pondicherry University, Karaikal campus, who is traveling with me for all research seminars, workshops, and we collectively do a lot of data analytics workshops together. We have done almost 13 workshops together till now. So I thank him, and beyond that, I thank the what you call it as the head of the department, my own good colleague, Dr. S. Amilan sir, who has been a good inspiration for me every time to make it my own colleagues and my own colleagues in the Pondicherry University, and also my own authorities, Vice Chancellor, Registrar, Director for Research, Director, and all the professors, my own, because I'm an alumni of Pondicherry University. So all the professors who have taught me what is research. I still remember Dr. Rajagopalan and Dr. Murugesan sir, who taught me what is a basic research. So with this note, let me thank the organizers, the research committee of the college, and the coordinator, Durai sir, Dr. Durai sir. I have to say that he is my fellow researcher in University of Madras. So that is how we came together, and we have been discussing on this to have a physical workshop FDP in the college, but unfortunately we couldn't make it out because of this pandemic COVID. But we could do it in what you call as in the technology. Thanks to all the faculty members of their team, and especially I thank Dinesh for his technical support. Dinesh, you have made my contribution to the entire world, entire globe. And I don't know how many views is going to be there. If everybody is going to get benefited, I'll be the happiest person. And thanks to all the participants who are in Zoom and YouTube Live. Thanks to Zoom as well as YouTube Live for their what you call as precious help, which has been happening, and especially WhatsApp. So all those technical support which we have. And with this short note, I want to thank all the participants. And one final request which I want to take it before going into the questioning section. See, research is getting commercialized. Let us jointly work on together to break that lobby of commercialization. Let us learn research and analytics in a scientific way of any discipline, help each other without any cost and fears. And let us understand the research in a very simplest way. Let us help each other. Let us do the research. Let us transform this commercialization of research in a what you call it as in an ethical one to contribute for the welfare of the policy maker and welfare of the society. Thank you, and uphold humanity on the earth. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Arumulugan sir. It was one of the fantastic presentation I've been ever been heard regarding the research and the funding details. And I hope we are getting very good responses, and we got around 1,000 plus live views. So 1,000 plus live views, which was not ended around. The last live was around 900, and the comments and everything was keep on flowing still. So thank you so much for your inputs and fire and energy, passion you have towards the research. So we can able to get the passion you have on your region, and your years of experience speaks a lot. So let's over to Dr. Durai for the further instructions. So in the meantime, those who are attending, you may share the link of the presentation, which is available still in the YouTube on day 1 and day 2 among your peers and among your friends who has not attended or who has missed the session, maybe due to any of the internet connection or something. They can view the session and then they can submit the feedback forms. It will be helpful for them to submit a feedback form, and you can also share the presentation among your friends, students, and future researchers who is going to get huge helpful from the presentations. So it'll be there. It'll be helpful for the future researchers. So Dr. Durai.
Yes, sir. Actually, sir, before the question session, there is one announcement from our research committee. Dr. Subha ma'am, please do it.
Yes, sir. Very good evening to one and all present here. I'm Dr. Shubha, Member Research Committee, Patrician College, Adyar. Here is a small announcement regarding the program. Let me first convey my sincere appreciations to all the faculty members of this wonderful program. Our research committee has sent a feedback form link to the registered mail ID. The feedback link can be accessed only after the end of this session. The feedback link will be available from 5:30 p.m. and will be there for access up to 5 hours. Your sample proposal is your assignment for 2 days and it has to be attached in the feedback link either as a PDF file or as a JPEG image. We kindly request you to keep ready with the sample proposal before you start the feedback. It should be either in PDF form or in the JPEG format. The assignment need not be sent to the mail ID provided by the committee. Thank you. Now, I'll take over the question session. Can I proceed with the question session, sir?
Please, sir. Please, madam. Sorry, please, madam.
Okay. Sir, actually, you have answered almost most of the questions asked by them, but out of curiosity, I want to list some of the questions posted in the YouTube.
Ma'am, only one request. So if you are going to read out the question, please read out the name of the person also, because they also can feel happy.
So many of them have asked the question, so I have not mentioned the name.
No,
I'll make the questions, sir.
Okay.
So the first question is, do we need to have PhD in regular mode so as to submit the proposal?
So it's very clear. UGC and ICSSR is only looking for a PhD holder. They never say whether you have to be in regular mode or in the part-time mode. So as far as I am concerned, I have not done my research in regular mode. I have done my research in the part-time mode. When I got my JRF, but I applied for full-time research in the University of Madras, but fortunately I got my job in Manomayam Sundaranarar University. So I have to shift there and I converted my PhD in part-time. So there is no need for thinking of that. Anybody who has a PhD degree can apply.
Thank you, sir. The next question is, who can apply for a minor project?
Anybody. The same rule applies for everyone. There is no, see, the minor and major differs only on two aspects. One on the fund, quantum of the fund, as well as the period of the project. That's all.
The next one is, can you suggest me how to write a proposal for fluid dynamic research area as there is no sample data collection? This is one by Mr. Professor Govinda Rao.
Yeah. See, again, I'm telling you, no, we are trying to tell you, or we are trying to give you the guidance on how to bring about the research proposal and how to apply online and how to cross your success of your getting your project. The domain knowledge, for example, I am basically from a commerce background, and I do understand that all the areas are there. It is left to the researchers to dig on with various sources, and we cannot say that we have seen everything, in my opinion. There are so many resources which are inaccessible. So my humble request is, I request him to meet some of the experts in that area, and even internationally you can contact. For example, for my research in logistics, when I took it, I contacted a few of the experts through LinkedIn. Is one of the good source. Create a profile in LinkedIn. I contacted some of them from Australia. I contacted them, some of them from what you call it as France, and I got a lot of idea. So my humble request is domain based that a researcher has to work on.
The next question is there any specific set of statistical tool need to be applied in order to avail fund from any agency?
No, a research organization or funding agency doesn't look what tool we apply. What the expert committee look is whether the application of qualitative, quantitative tools and techniques, methods, models, theories in our research is needed. Not mandatory, needed. When it is needed, the expert committee will only check whether we are adopting or whether we are going to use relevant tools and techniques, statistical models or mathematical models or scientific models what we are going to apply is relevant. That is what they'll be looking in. And if it is there, that is what I said. No scientific research looks into that. That is what I said in session 1. And especially on that angle, data analytics, and that angle, we need to have an exclusive session on data analytics, maybe sometime later.
So can a management faculty be a principal investigator?
Any faculty can be principal investigator. It doesn't mean which domain it belongs to, as far as UGC STRIDE and ICSSR Impress is concerned. For example, now I have applied for UGC STRIDE and ICSSR Impress last time. And for the ICSSR Impress, I have collaborated now with one computer science faculty. I'm a commerce faculty. And for UGC STRIDE, I have collaborated with an economics faculty and a sociology faculty. So, see, it doesn't mean which area. So, area which you are selecting, you should be strong. Then you can be a principal investigator. That's all. Anybody can be a principal investigator. You can do individually or you can do with a team. In my humble request, if you do with a team, the result or findings will be always good. There will be a cross section each other. Myself and my own research team, we always discuss. And ultimately, we can come out with good knowledge and good theory.
Can you please differentiate significance of the study and statement of problem, sir?
See, statement of problem is going to explain you what exactly you are planning to do your research. That is a research. If you explain your research gap, then it is a statement of the problem. Okay. And the significance of the study, how your problem is going to be significant enough to reach the society and the policymaker.
So the next question is there any condition for publication of papers in reputed journal to avail fund from agencies?
They will be looking for our research experience. That's what I mentioned in between, that they will be looking for research articles, whether you have published or any research articles in the reputed journals of international and national literature, online or offline, doesn't matter. And maybe chapters in edited volumes, whether you have come out with a book, whether you have done any projects. So they'll be looking for all our research, what you call it as capacities.
Is there any specific number, sir?
There is no number. There is no minimum number or so. They'll be looking in, see, especially principal investigator and project director supposed to be a, what you call it as high worthy research publication supposed to be there. Maybe co-investigators and co-principal investigators and co-project directors may have a little, but ultimately you need to have it. There is no any specific numbers as such.
What is the procedure for availing extension of time if you are not able to submit the proposal on time, sir?
Before we start, we are looking for extension of time. So my humble request is, if we adopt scientific way of doing with dedication, with enjoyment, fun, if you follow that approach, I don't think so there will be extension. In my opinion, the extension should not be there. If you want to get an extension, there is a procedure available in depending on the funding agency. Before 3 months of the completion of the time, we need to send a request through online. There is a specific forms also available. And if the committee feels that it can be extended, then they will extend. If not, they may not. Its choice is dumb. And it's better to complete in time. It's just like getting a bank loan from a bank. If you pay properly, the bank will voluntarily come forward to give you another loan. The same way, if you do your project properly and submit it in time, right, ultimately they will be happy to sanction you the next project.
Actually, what is the time taken by the forum to shortlist any project, sir?
We don't have any such restriction, madam, because it is left to the authority to decide depending on their convenience and other things, because minimum 3 to 6 months it will take.
So what is CAS and how API score is calculated?
No, even though that is not relevant for question, but still I will answer it. Career advancement scheme is exclusively for all the faculty members who are working in a regular mode, who will be promoted from assistant professor to associate professor to professor. So there are various cadres available. For promoting to each cadre, what you call as the scrutinizing committee looks for a score which is called as performance score, API, performance index, right? So that they'll be taking it, and in that these projects like has a higher score. So each project will have certain scores over there. It depends on science and social science faculties. So you can check it out with the ever-changing guidelines. So automatically it will get changed. If you have a publication, you have a score. No, in the same way, if you have a project, and the project also, if you have with the amount, ceiling of amount also, the point will increase.
Last question, sir.
Yeah,
Is the
please.
forum is available throughout the year for making the proposal?
Yeah. As far as a regular, major and minor project is concerned, you can send it at any time, and also you can send it when they come for notification. There is no what you call as any norm. But as far as UGC Stride and ICSSR Impress, even UGC has come out one more thing called a Spark, which I have not discussed here. UGC Spark is for international collaboration. So if anybody is interested, you can type out Spark and check it out. It is for international projects. Okay. So these things, a separate notification will come, and a deadline will be given, and the sites will be open for a time, and we need to apply. So I will add on one more. Don't wait for, now we know everything, right? Don't wait for the notification. And now you have a free time, prepare a proposal with all these inputs, keep it safe in your laptop. Okay, 3 or 4 proposals. Then once the time is on, when the website is open, then you can immediately register. You can send it to your authority, get approval. Minimum 1 month time is given. Minimum 1 month time is given. Normally they don't extend. Even the last 15th, ICSSR has come out with a special call for research on pandemic coronavirus pandemic situation, right? COVID-19 pandemic situation on social issues. The last date was May 15th, 2 days before it has ended. So now they go for a call. Till now, 2 calls from ICSSR Impress and 2 calls from Stride has come out. We are waiting for the third call. Still, we are waiting for the result also. And that is how it happens. So anytime, please ready with your project proposal, ready with your budget, ready with your everything. Once the call comes in, apply to your institution, get your certificate, apply immediately. Be cool there.
Thank you so much, sir. It was very informative, and we were able to understand many points from your presentation.
Thank
now
you.
I request Ms. Pavitra to take over the session for the formal vote of thanks.
Good evening. On behalf of Patrician College and also the College Research Committee, I extend my sincere thanks and gratitude to Dr. V. Arunmurugan for such a scintillating session on the nuances and the dynamics you taught us in this short time frame. So this 2-day workshop, I'm sure it is an eye-opener. You threw quite a lot of insights, right from drafting the proposal to the eligibility to the funding agencies, and also the difference between how to apply for a UGC Stride and ICSSR Impress. Alongside, you also touched upon on the budgeting and the submission protocol that differs and the differences between them. So at this juncture, I would also like to render my sincere appreciation to the speaker or a resource person who spoke about how do we transfer ourselves from this materialistic composite towards societal transformation. So thank you so much, sir. And also I would like to extend my thanks to Dr. Dinesh Gajendran of Adocious Dreams, wherein he was able to facilitate the session and also helped us for this live YouTube streaming. Thank you for helping us with the technical support. Also, I would like to thank our Research Committee Coordinator, Dr. Durai Arasan, for bringing in such a knowledgeable speaker to the forum and then made this very purposeful. Thank you so much, Dr. Durai, sir. And also, I would like to extend my sincere thanks to all the faculties and the research fraternity members who are being present and who are just listening and who've been trying to understand. Thank you all for joining us, and thank you so much. Once again, I would just like to put on records that the feedback session will be available post 5:30, and please kindly submit your research snippet in the format prescribed. Thank you all.
Thank you. So, sir, you want to speak, sir? Durai, sir.
That's all. Okay, sir. Actually, thank you, Dr. Arun Murugan, sir, for accepting this program. Actually,
Okay.
from yesterday, I'm getting continuous call. You have to conduct more session for like this. Continuously, you conduct many sessions.
There is one final point. I
Yes.
like to share one thing that you can share my PPT to everyone,
Yeah,
and
sure, sir.
they can in that my mobile number, WhatsApp number, and email ID is there. And if anyone is willing to clarify, because I cannot do research for anyone, but I can guide the research for everyone. So that is an ultimate thinking which is going on, which we need to work on. We have to transform. So anybody can free to call me at any time and they can get clarified. Nothing is chargeable. I'm making a point. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much, sir. Actually, I'm getting continuous call from participation, okay, because it's very interesting and also informative session, sir.
Thank you, sir. And especially I like to thank Dinesh, sir, for your foundation. And in the future, if anything is able to be collaborated, I'll be happy to collaborate with you and keep in touch with us, sir. Thanks a lot. I'm leaving.
Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Arun Murugan and Dr. Duri Arasan and all the faculties of Patrician Arts and Science College, Chennai, for joining hands with us. And I believe it's going to be a wonderful session. I hope all the participants fill the feedback forms and receive your e-certifications, and all the best. I'm looking forward to collaborate with you in future. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you all for all the participation.